Good afternoon folks, and welcome to another scenery review. This is Lee, your virtual airline pilot, back with you looking at another PayWest scenery. Today we're in the Caribbean, we're in the northern Caribbean, and we're in the Turks and Caicos Islands, just north of Haiti and east of the Bahamas. We're in Providenciales in the Turks and Caicos. This is the international airport, Mike Bravo Papa Victor. This is a PayWest scenery by Vuelo Simple. Currently version 1 for both the PC and Xbox versions of Flight Simulator 2020. So this scenery can be used by our Xbox colleagues. Download is 240 megs and it installs at 246 megs. So it's not a huge file. It's available from SimMarket and also from flightsim.to. I'll give you the prices from SimMarket because they include VAT. It's €11.99, which equates to $12.94 US, or £10.49 UK. The US and UK prices are estimates from the euro, and they do include VAT or tax, which of course may vary depending on your country of purchase. Okay, so let me say right off the bat, there have been one or two negative reviews about this, but I think it's quite a nice scenery. Firstly, you have to remember Flight Simulator 2020 gives us a visual effect here which we've not been used to until this simulator came out. Visually, pretty much everywhere, even the default stuff looks a lot better than it did, for example, in P3D and FSX. So Flight Simulator 2020 does indeed improve many airports, and the default ones are a lot better, and of course Asobo and other payware developers are making them better still. So this default airport is quite nice. It's out in the Caribbean, it's usable, it's lovely. This payware scenery doesn't do an awful lot, and there are some issues which I will go through. But as a scenery, as a standalone product for €11.99, which includes tax, remember, that I think it's quite nice. I think it's perfectly acceptable. That said, there are issues, and we'll talk about some of those issues. So let's just quickly go through the short list of features. So we have realistic rendition of Providenciales Airport based on recent updates. Detailed main terminal with its famous OASIS terrace bar, GILLEY'S restaurant and check-in hall. Main yellow tower with accurate interior equipment and staff. All active FBOs or fixed base operators like Provo Air Center, Business Aviation and Blue Heron. And I can confirm those all do exist on the airport. So as ever, let's talk about some history. So Providenciales International Airport, Mike Bravo Papa Victor, is a public use international airport on the island of Providenciales in the Turks and Caicos Islands, and is the main international airport serving the Turks and Caicos Islands, a British overseas territory of the United Kingdom. It is operated by Turks and Caicos Islands Airport Authority, or the TCIAA. The territory's other international airport is JAGS, McCartney International Airport on Grand Turk Island. And currently there are more than 12,000 commercial aircraft operations per year. So there were plans for the TCIAA to either extend or build a new terminal after having recently completed the extension of the runway. This project's now been completed and the renovation was finished in December 2014. Some 14 airlines operate into and out of Providenciales, as well as 4 cargo airlines. This airport is a hub for Inter-Caribbean Airways and Caicos Express Airways. During the year 2016 to 17, the airport handled over 939,000 passengers. Currently, the largest aircraft type serving the airport on a scheduled basis is the wide-body Boeing 777-200, operated by British Airways, with direct flights once a week from London Gatwick Airport via an intermediate stop in Antigua. So that's a very brief history for you, nothing much really to discuss in terms of history of the airport or that I can find. Let's have a look at runways. So as ever, I've lowered the lighting a little bit so you can see the runway and its lighting. So Providenciales Airport operates a single runway, 2810, measuring 9,199 feet or 2,804 meters, and the runway's made from asphalt. The airport lies at an elevation of 28 feet or 8.5 meters. The runway is grooved and features medium intensity runway lighting and precision approach path indicators on the runway left side, and this is at both ends of the runway. So in terms of approaches, there are no star charts for this airport. However, there is a published SID chart, Standard Instrument Departure, along with RNP and up to 3 VOR approach options listed for both ends of the runway. So as you can see, here we are looking at runway 10. You've got end identifier lights, you've got basic lighting on the runway, no centerline or touchdown lights. There's the PAPIs. So let's briefly go and have a look at runway 28, the other end. So here we are looking down the float of runway 28, and you can see exactly the same as at the other end. We've got green lights identifying the end of the runway here. There's also this bit of displaced threshold, which actually in the daylight looks to be the original underlying default Asobo runway, but we'll come to that. Lighting on the runway is the same, again no centerline lighting. You've got the PAPIs. So there you go, that about does it for runways. So let's get down now and have a look at the airport properly in the daytime and see what we can find. Okay, so we're going to start with a tour, sort of east to west. Here we are at the threshold of runway 28. But before we do, let me just take you through some of the things that have been reported by others. Well, they've not been reported as such. Some people are saying there's no PBR texturing, no waving flags and no tropical feel. Well, after this review you can decide yourself whether there is actually a tropical feel. There are flags by the terminal, we'll see those shortly, and they are fixed, they don't wave. To me that's not a huge issue, it doesn't make or break a scenery for me. PBR, well, not sure why or what is actually missing, but we will see. Straight off the bat, I've discovered, having a look at this scenery yesterday in some detail, we've got stands 7A and 7B are missing. The 3 helipads, which are actually here, are also missing. They're missing from the southwest corner of the eastern cargo apron, adjacent to Taxiway Echo, which is here. There's also a windsock stuck right in the middle of Taxiway India on the southern fixed base operator, which we'll also look at. And a fire station is there, but there are no fire appliances, not really sure why. And the main taxiway exits A and B, the signs exiting from the runway are there, but there are no signs for exits C, D, E, F and I. And the VOR station is not modelled. And lastly, again which we will look at during the dusk hours, the central terminal area itself is well lit, but none of the other FBO areas are lit at all. There are no green centerline lights and no runway centerline that we've looked at. On the plus side, the tower is modelled inside. The airside interior and airside terrace is nicely modelled with people. And inside where you've got the check-in desk, we do actually have staff. So that's a brief sort of rundown of what's seen and what isn't seen and what's sort of good and bad about it. But we'll look at all of these as we go. We'll start with a tour here, east to west. You're looking at one of the FBO terminals here in the cargo apron. And the helicopter pads would be here, which is where I placed my helicopter. Note that you cannot actually spawn onto here. So let's go and let's have a little look. So there's the old threshold. You can't really work out really whether it's Asobo's own or whether it's been overwritten during the original sort of construction. So there's my helicopter, and that's where the 3 helicopter pads would be, right in the corner there. As you can see, it all looks pretty basic, but it looks quite acceptable. Don't really see any issues as such. It's perfectly nice hangars there. Buildings are quite nice. You might sort of find the terraforming or lack of it here might be a little bit questionable, but again, there's none of it on the airport, and so you can use the airfield. So here we're coming up to the main terminal area. There you can see the fence line, you've got the fuel farm down there to the right. And we just come across the main tarmac here. So here you can see the signs denoting the exits, Alpha and Bravo, and here the runway signs as well. And here you've got the signage on the ground, there's the tower. All of this looks perfectly nice. There's the airside terrace and the flags there that don't move as such. And here you've got the stands, everything nicely delineated. And as we go across here you can see we've got stand 7, but we don't have 7A and 7B, and I'll show you the chart in a minute that shows that. Let's carry on down to the other end of the runway. As you can see, it all looks perfectly nice, mainly because FlightSim 2020 gives us the opportunity to make these sort of sceneries just look so much better than they used to be in other simulators. As you can see, there's been no sort of flattening or terraforming as such. Having not been to this airport, I can't say whether all this hills is realistic or not. But visually you're looking at a Caribbean island that's whitewashed, just as so many of these islands are. And there's the fence line, goes right around the airport. So coming down the runway here towards the east, one of the things I was worried about is obviously with all these terrain anomalies supposedly here, was whether or not the runway had bumps in it, and actually it doesn't. Now here you can see we've got the exit signs going into the terminal area for Alpha and Bravo taxiways. And you've also got this one here that goes into the fixed base operator on the south side, Taxiway Hotel. Sorry, this is Alpha, this is Bravo. Again, you've got the signs, and you've got blue airfield edge lights, which actually are white when, of course, when they're on, as we've seen. And as you can see, the runway is in reasonable condition. It's flat, it's not bumped or inhibited or any problems caused by the terrain. So that's really good. Here you can see these little terrain anomalies, but none of them affect the runway. So Taxiway Charlie is denoted. And now as we get down to the cargo apron, we're coming to Taxiway Delta Echo and Foxtrot on the left. And as you can see, there are no signs denoting it. No yellow signs at all. There are the Pappies on the left. This is Echo, this is Foxtrot, this is India. And you can see no signs at all. And if I just swing right here, there is the windsock that's stuck right in the middle of Taxiway India. That needs to be fixed. While we're here, let's have a quick look at this aviation fixed base operator. So again, quite nice, nothing really to write home about, nice little hangar. Unfortunately we've got vegetation there growing in through the hangar rear, which is a pity. It all looks quite nice. And there's another shot from the other side. It looks fine. So it's come across Taxiway, this is India on the left with the windsock stuck in it, across the runway onto Taxiway Foxtrot. As you can see, no yellow signs by the side of the runway marking it, and actually at night time this is quite dark. There's very little lighting around here, but we'll look at that in a minute. So again, we've got terrain anomalies here to the right. However, the building here has been nicely done. You've got palm trees and other trees around, and it all looks very pleasant. Just a palm tree growing through the building slightly there. And a little view of the building from the other side. I mean, the buildings are nice, nicely weathered, nicely constructed, realistic, very, very nice. No complaints about the buildings at all. And here inside you can see basic modelling in this building. And again here, obviously they could do more with this if they want to. I mean, if this airport gets updated, who knows what they could do. Looks great. Very nice indeed, no problems at all with that. So let's continue the tour towards the main terminal area. As you can see, nice buildings. There's the helicopter. This is the helicopter pad area, or helicopter landing area. That's not marked on the charts, but it's not defined here in the scenery. And again, you can't spawn your helicopter there, you'd have to move it. There's another fixed base operator terminal coming across here. Again, nothing much to write home about, but perfectly acceptable. I applaud anybody who attempts to enhance the scenery, although, as I said, FlightSim 2020 gives us some really, really nice scenery options and makes things look so much more real than it ever did. PROVO'S hangar there on the right, and some other various buildings, another hangar. It all looks fine, nothing really to write home about, nothing to complain about per se. At this point we're looking at a situation basically where sort of a lot of the markings are missing really. Does it have a tropical feel? I think it probably does. I mean, you come in here from the air, come into either of the runways, you're coming over the sea. Yeah, plenty of palm trees and foliage and whitewash. There's the fuel farm to the right there. Fence line, as you can see. I think it does have a tropical feel. I mean, it's a simple scenery. They haven't gone to town on it, and I have no problem with that. The only sort of problem I do have is that it's missing things that should be here. So here we are coming across AIRSIDE. So first of all, here's the fire station. No fire trucks inside or on the ramp, which is a pity. That could have been, they could have added that, which is nice. Here's the control tower, just as it appears in real life. The colours are right. We'll look in there. I mean, that's perfectly acceptable there. So there from the outside you can see we've got people inside the control tower. Let's go in. And there's a view in the control tower, perfectly acceptable. They got the misted glass, which looks real as you look out there. Here you've got the computers, they've even got maps on them. I mean, the system is nicely done, and nice people models. No complaints at all. There's the building from LANDSIDE, complete with fence line, and there's the fire escape stairwell. Perfectly fine, no problem at all with that. So as we continue across the apron here to the main terminal AIRSIDE, as you can see, lots of little bits and pieces, all as it should be. Some baggage in the baggage dollies there. There's the terrace. There's the flags that are not animated. But the people look fine, and you've even got the kiosk there as well with the gentleman inside. It all looks fine. I've got really no complaints with this at all. It all looks lovely. Like I said, it's an attempt by a developer to enhance a default airport, and I have no problem with that at all. Any attempt to do that is always welcome, so long as the price is right. But again, if you're going to attempt to upgrade a default airport, then you really need to make sure that nothing is missing. And unfortunately there are a few things missing and a few anomalies. but as you can see, there's much to like about this. So let's just tour landside of the main terminal before we go inside. There's a nice rockery done there. The cars are nice, no real problems with the cars, the models are good, they're not missing anything as either. The landside part of the terminal has been nicely sculptured. This looks very pleasant. Palm trees, a couple of cars parked there. As you can see, the internal part of the terminal is developed to a basic standard. That's quite nice. There you've got the check-in desks over there with the screens. Okay, a couple of anomalies with the cars there. But as you can see, basically this is fine. Fence lines, there's a couple of lights on that building. The roadway's been nicely done, complete with a car park. So let's just go inside and have a look at the check-in desks and the internal bits that have been done here. So as I said, here we are, check-in desks. All lots of good signage, all very crystal clear, and check-in staff at the desks, which is something that's missing at so many other sceneries. So kudos for doing that. And just a look in the other direction. Interesting to see we've got fans in the roof, which is quite something I've not seen in any sceneries before. Really good. Be nice if they were animated. I don't know if that can be done. So a quick tour across this area here. As you can see, some nice people there. This really looks nice. We'll just stop here. Nice little shop there. That's the Oasis bar, Sky Lounge as they call it, which is mentioned in the features. And a nice young lady there is probably getting her feet burned with the sun. So let's pop inside AIRSIDE. So here's the AIRSIDE internal modelling that they've done so far. Again, fairly basic, but quite nice. Not really an issue for the pilots amongst us who just want to land in here and take off. But again, it's a nice attempt to update the default scenery. And there's GILLEY'S Sky Lounge and Bar, again as mentioned in the features list, along with the signs, and they've even got a bartender here as well. And then as you go further landside here, you've got the main car parks. Again, they've been 3D modelled, they've not been left to default photo ground, which is another plus for this product. It's nice that they do this. So many sceneries use the default photo ground, which is not of a high enough resolution to make it look realistic. But it's all pretty nice. You know, it's a nice little airport out in the Caribbean, somewhere for you to explore, not that far from places like Miami or the Bahamas, quite a short flight. And with a helicopter pilots, you can tour some of the islands here in the chain. So just very quickly, I said the VOR station was missing and it's not modelled. This is where the VOR station will be. Again, I'll stick the chart up so you can see the location on the chart, and it's not modelled. So there we are then, we've toured the basic scenery, not an awful lot to go mad about here, but again it does improve what was there before in the default, so kudos to the guys for that. So let's turn the lighting down to dusk now and see what the lighting is like. Okay, so just coming up to 5:30 local time in the evening. Bear in mind this is January 2022, so it's winter time. And as you can see, we've got lighting coming up here on the main terminal area, parking apron, one or two bits and hip here and there, some landside lighting as well, which looks quite good. Here's the fixed base operator up this end, there's lighting on the ramp there, and you've got the runway. And here looking in the other direction, you can see we don't have a lot of lighting at all. Certainly at dusk we've got basic lighting on some of the buildings off airport here. The fixed base operators here and here, there's practically no lighting at all. So let's get down on the ramp. Again, we start with a fixed base operator on the far east side by the threshold of 28. As you can see, there's lighting on the building, and that looks quite pleasant, and it will look much more pleasant in the darkness hours. But the ramp area itself has no lighting or no lead-in lights at all. I just pull back, you can see we've got aircraft, but no lighting at all when you come off the runway. And again, the absence of the signage for the taxiways that should be here and here makes it a little bit more difficult. So as we move westwards, you can see we've got some signage here, but not much, and it's pretty dark. Even that hangar on the right there that was nice during the day is not even lit, and practically none of this apron area and cargo area is lit at all. The only lighting appears to be in the main central area that we're coming to now. Runway's edge is nicely lit, but no centerline and no green lights, so landing here at dusk could be a bit interesting. But as you can see, on the ramp area, main ramp terminal area itself, lighting's nice. It's basic, but it's perfectly nice. And just another look here, tracking in the same direction but a different view. Again, the lighting's nice, it's perfectly acceptable. There's the terminal. Got lighting there which gives you a view into the airside lounge there. Some subtle lighting, no asobo globes on this side of the airport. And then coming out to the very far end here where stand 7. Now there should be a stand 7 Alpha, stand 7 in the middle and 7 Bravo according to the charts, but those stands are missing. So while we're here, let's just head out to the runway here and see whether anything goes on. So I haven't seen anything go onto the runway, which is good. Here's the lead in to stand 7. As you can see, you've got the runway identifying signs there. It's taxiway Golf, but no green centerline lights, so you'll need your nose gear light. So your nose gear and main landing lights will be enormously helpful, because as we get to the runway here, as you can see, only the edge of the runway, medium intensity runway lighting is all you have. So your landing lights will be your main assist to getting off the runway to where you need to go. So a quick look at the FBO on this side. Again, minimal lighting, but at least this area is actually lit. And as you get closer, I think it tends to look better. But as you can see, Blue Heron Aviation building's nicely lit. It's nicely modelled, very, very nice. And just looking at the other side there, yeah, it's okay, it's no problem at all. And there's a view of the FBO from landside. Perfectly acceptable, nothing really to write home about, but it's been done and it's nice, no real complaints there. Okay, so there was a quick tour of the airport itself at dusk. Let's turn it down to night now and see what the lighting's like in the night time. So here we are, 8:15 in the evening. Dusk at night time tends to come really quickly in the Northern Caribbean at this time of the year. So we're looking here at the main terminal apron, as you can see, very well lit. The lighting has come up, but you can also see the runways and taxiways basically have disappeared from here. The lighting is minimal on the runway and the taxiways themselves. But let's get down low and have a closer look. So as you can see here, as we go down the taxiway towards the runway, so I shall stop here. There's the runway in that direction and the runway in that direction. As you can see, minimal lighting, medium intensity runway lighting is all you have. No centerline, no green lights at all. Let's get on to the main apron. So first an overview from here to see the main apron and the main terminal, and you can see there's enough lighting for you to find your stand and park. The stands are well identified on the tarmac, and there's enough lighting for you to go in and park. Fire station off to the right there, a little bit of lighting in the control tower, and looking towards stand 7 right out in the distance there, again the lighting extends right out there, so no problem at all. I just want to see where this car goes. So he's stopped. Let's see if he crosses the runway or goes down it. Okay, so he's crossed the runway and he's going over to the FBO. I don't really have a problem with vehicles crossing the runway. Going down the runway is a real problem for us. So as I come up to this high level shot, as I mentioned before, all of the good lighting is all here on the main terminal. Here you've got the cargo apron and the other fixed base operators, where the tarmac lighting is basically non-existent. You've got a little bit down here, but really not a lot on the ground. So coming in and out of this airport, really you're limited to at night time to lighting in this area only. So there we go, that was a look at night time. As you can see, landside the lighting extends as well. That all looks perfectly okay. Let's bring it up to the dawn. Okay, so just after 7 AM local time, and time to have a look at this and just give you my conclusions. Do I like it? Yeah, it's okay. As I said before, Flight Simulator 2020 gives us airports and locations here in a way that we've never seen them before, and really do look good, especially when the photogrammetry is good. So anything that attempts to upgrade the default, which already looks quite good in my opinion, is to be welcomed. Question is it done properly, and is the price right? I think the price is about right. I think somebody mentioned in a review somewhere you get what you pay for, and to a great extent that's true. But I think the price is perfectly okay, just under €12, and bear in mind that includes tax, so that's not bad at all. However, as I said, if you're going to do something like this, it needs to be done properly, and there's quite a lot missing. Like I said, waving flags I'm not really bothered about. If they want to animate them, that's great. It does look, when you do little touches like animating flags, putting people behind check-in desks, and little things like that, those are nice touches which really bring a scenery to life. But there's quite a lot missing here. Like I said, stands 7A and 7B that go here are missing. They need to be reinstated. I'd like to see an update to the scenery with that done. The 3 helipads are missing. Even just an H up here would be nice. Where the helicopter is, it doesn't have to have the 3 pads, so that would be a good thing to do. They need to remove the windsock that's stuck in the middle of the taxiway here and place it in the right area. Another thing that's missing as well, you have the signage that indicates taxiway Bravo and Charlie Alpha and Bravo here, but the other taxiways there are no signs indicating turn-offs from the main runway, and I'd like to see them replaced back into the scenery. Taxiway Charlie Delta Echo Foxtrot and India, which is the one off here. They've got hotel to this fixed based operator here, but nothing up this end of the runway. A nicely modelled fire station down there. We've got no fire appliances. So, a quick look online for a couple of pictures. I'm sure we could do fire appliances down there. Again, it just adds to the ambience of the airport. A VOR station, well, there are VOR models, I think, as part of the SDK, so they could stick that in, that would be fine. And if they've got time, or if they're inclined to, obviously at dusk at night, it would be nice to have some lighting on the taxiways, on the ramp areas up here where the other operators are. I've had a look through the charts here and the chart information. There's nothing to say this airport closes after dark. And you'd think, well, okay, there's no point in lighting the runway. if you do close after dark. So I would imagine there are approaches that go into the runway, into this airport, in the dusk hours or the darkness hours. I don't know how late that would be, but that being the case, these other areas need to be lit. So it'd be nice to see that improvement. So I'll put these little list of things that I'd like to see up, and we'll see whether Bureau Simple maybe whether they respond. But like I said, you know, it's a nice little airport. It's an attempt to improve an already nice little airport in a nice location, given what Flight Simulator 2020 does for us, and that's to be applauded. I have no problem with that at all, and I think the price is about right. But there are things missing, there are things that should have been modelled that aren't, and little errors like sticking the windsock in the middle of a taxiway. These things need to be corrected. If they issued an update 1.1 or 1.2 to this scenery and corrected all the things we've talked about, I'd be really impressed. And it would go up, which would actually go up quite a bit in my opinion. But yes, I like it, and you know, I'm happy with it, no problem at all. But I would like to see those issues that I've highlighted to be addressed to really improve this scenery still further. So guys, thanks for joining me. This is Lee, your virtual airline pilot, wrapping up another review, this time of a nice little scenery location out in the Northern Caribbean, well within the distance of Florida and places like that, and the Dominican Republic. Lots of nearby places that you could use to fly into here and explore the islands with your helicopter. Very nice indeed. So thanks for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed the review, and Bureau Simple, guys, if you're watching this review, would really like to see you correct the issues I've discussed here, which would really whip the scenery up a real top notch for me. So thanks again guys, take care, have a great week. I'm still learning the Phoenix A320, so hopefully maybe a weekend we'll try and get a video in for you next week. Take care, thank you very much for watching, and for my subscribers, thank you, I appreciate it. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye for now.